Is it possible for you to buy $1 million business or buy $1 million piece of property with none of your own money? Well, I'm here to tell you that it absolutely is possible with a very unorthodox, little known secret strategy that I'm about to share with you in this video. So buckle up your seatbelts because I have a lot of stuff to cover in a very short period of time. Here we go. Okay, so first and foremost, let's talk about where your mid-personal FICO score needs to be able to pull this off. It needs to be at 750 or above. If it's not, then please check out my other YouTube videos that talks about how to fix your credit in the shortest amount of time possible, because you need to have your mid-personal FICO score at 750 or above to be able to make the strategy work. And you can literally do that within the next few weeks or so by following the strategies that I outline in my other YouTube videos. So I'm just assuming that you'll come back to this video when you have a 750 mid FICO or above, or that you already have one, or that you maybe want to prepare yourself for exactly how the strategy works when you do have your mid FICO above 750. So case in point, let me share with you a little bit of a story on how I was able to establish and understand this secret strategy. So years ago, I actually had to file for personal bankruptcy due to identity theft with my first husband. And back in the day, we're talking the late 90s, I'm like starting to date myself here, but late 90s, I didn't have the ability to fight what we call now identity theft. Identity theft was not a thing. And so I thought my only recourse was to file for bankruptcy. So my attorney at the time told me that 2003 was the last, I guess you could say, clean slate bankruptcy before they changed all the bankruptcy laws. And he actually encouraged me to file for bankruptcy for obvious reasons. He wanted to get the fee as an attorney. Turned out that filing for bankruptcy was probably the worst mistake I'd ever made. Knowing everything that I know about credit now, I probably would not have filed for bankruptcy, and I would have just waited 7 years for all that crap to fall off my credit. But you know, you live and learn, right? So I filed for bankruptcy in 2003, and then I had to kind of work my way up the credit ladder to be able to work through and figure out a lot of these very little known unorthodox credit strategies on my own, by myself, with no help and no information out there. So what I started to do was think outside of the box. And one day I actually watched an infomercial by a guy named Ray Reynolds, who for the first time actually introduced me to the concept of what we call business or corporate credit. And so that's when I first learned about this idea of getting business credit to be able to get unsecured credit to use for building wealth. And so I started to get these different corporations with EIN numbers, which is essentially the social security number for your business. And I was able to slowly but surely build up this business or corporate credit and use this unsecured cash to be able to start to build wealth for myself, namely in the world of real estate investing. And so that's how I learned about corporate and business credit. And so over the years, I've been able to access hundreds of thousands of dollars, if not millions of dollars, of unsecured credit that's not even mine, to be able to utilize for investing and building and even buying businesses. And you can do the same as long as you understand exactly how this corporate OPM or other people's money loophole works. It's available to you. Even the average Joe and Jane in the world can utilize the strategy once you understand exactly how it works. So anybody can start a brand new for-profit corporation. You can do this in your home state, or you can do this in one of the anonymous states like Wyoming, Delaware, New Mexico, or Nevada. And you can start a corporation, a for-profit corporation. I don't advise you to get an LLC unless you actually have a physical business partner. And even if you do, I recommend you do this on your own. Because if you have a physical business partner, if they have bad credit, that's going to negatively affect your ability to get credit, because they pull everybody's credit on that corporation. So if you have a strong credit partner, say you have a spouse that has a really high FICO and you don't, then definitely get an LLC and put both of you on there. Or maybe you have a brother-in-law, sister-in-law, parent, or someone who has a really high FICO score. You can do an LLC with both of you on that LLC, and that person will help you in being able to access this unsecured credit. Otherwise, get yourself a corporate entity like an Inc., Incorporated, LTD, Limited, etc. Just yourself, with yourself on it. You want to turn it from a C corporation to an S corporation as soon as you get the corporate docs in the mail, and then off you go. And so now you have yourself a for-profit corporation that you can now utilize for the purposes of getting yourself unsecured business credit. All right. So you're probably thinking, okay, Monica, where are we going with this? Like, how do I get $1 million property, or how do I get $1 million business that's pre-existing that I can buy, that I can get for, pennies on the dollar, essentially, out of my own pocket? Because, you're going to share with me the secret strategy, right? Well, I am going to share with you the secret strategy. So let me talk about 100% bond funding, something you probably never heard of. And there's a company out there that will offer to give you 100% LTV of whatever business or whatever piece of cash flowing real estate you want to buy, provided that you're able to cover a 2% bond. So a bond is for the bond raising cost, which means from investors. It's basically a pool of investors that they're able to actually access, and they have access to, that pool in their money. So maybe there's 4 investors, for example, and each one will pool in $250,000 each to give you the $1 million. And it has to be applied to a specific property or a specific business that you're purchasing. So maybe you go on flipit.com, maybe find a $1 million business. It has to be $1 million or more to be able to use the bond funding. It cannot be less than $1 million. And you find this awesome cash flowing business on flipit.com for $1 million. And you're like, hey, I want that business because it can give me, $10,000 a month in cash flow or more, ideally. And so the bond funding program can raise the $1 million for you, but you have to come up with 2%. So you're probably thinking, well, Monica, 2% of $1 million, $20,000, I don't have that. This is where the magic comes in. So if you have a FICO score, a mid FICO of 750 or above, with your brand spanking new LLC or your brand spanking new for-profit business, you now qualify to be able to get business credit cards. And case in point, one of my favorites is Chase Inc. They will give you on average about $50,000 in unsecured credit. Even better, you can get this at 0% APR for a full year for the first year. You don't have to receive one of these pre-screened offers in the mail. You can actually go online right now and get their 0% APR 12-month promotional program, and you can get about $50,000. That's more than enough to be able to cover the 2% bond, which again would be $20,000 on $1 million deal. So technically you'd be able to buy maybe a $2 million company or a $2 million cash flowing piece of property, because you can get, $50,000, so you'd only need $40,000 to be able to cover the bond raising cost for the bond company. So the cool thing is, you can actually get this money 0% APR for a full year and use that $20,000, $40,000 to buy a company on, say, flipit.com. And the cool thing is, when you have $1 million company or $2 million company that you're buying, trust me, you have some solid cash flow coming in. You could be getting a cash flow of $15,000, $20,000 a month on a business somebody else already built for you. They already put their blood, sweat, and tears into this. They already put their risk, their money into it. They spent their time, effort, and energy building this business for you, or building this cash flowing property deal for you. And all you do is swoop right in, as if you're a multi-million-dollar investor. You use this $1 million or $2 million bond funding program, and they will fund the program for you. They will fund the deal for you, and you just have to put up the bond, which is again 2%. So that would be $20,000 for $1 million, $40,000 for $2 million, $60,000 for $3 million, and you can get that money 0% APR for a year using Chase Inc. You can also use Bank of America. They usually always have 0% APR promotional programs. US Bank. There's a variety of others that usually have 0% APR programs for new credit card holders for business credit. And so that's how you can use other people's money to be able to build wealth for yourself. So if you want more information about how to access the 0% APR bond funding program, or exactly how this whole process can potentially work for you, and how you can maximize the benefit of being able to use pretty much 100% LTV bond funding, as long as you have the 2% bond, which again you can get for free by simply having a for-profit corporation and a 750 mid-FICO, then go ahead and go into the description box, and I'll give you some more information on exactly how the whole process works and how you can maximize your wealth building efforts by simply using OPM or other people's money, using this very rare, little known, unorthodox secret that most people will never ever share with you, let alone even know about. So if you found that this content was helpful, give me a nice thumbs up. as well as subscribe to my channel, as well as putting in a comment for me, letting me know other topics of information that you want videos on, so that I can actually help you out as far as building your own business, building out your credit, whatever it is that you need help with as far as building wealth and credit. I could definitely help you and offer you that information in my next video. So this is Monica Main signing off, and I will see you in the next video.